In animals, their babies are looked over and photographed. But what about when something goes wrong? Motherhood isn't always the easiest journey, especially in certain animals. This is the story of an extraordinary mother and an extraordinary journey to motherhood. When this horse laid down to give birth, her owner noticed something unbelievable. Imagine being about to give birth, but not knowing that the situation was catastrophically life-threatening. Once upon a time, this was a common situation for humans. Since then, science has gotten much better and births for humans are often safe. However, this story isn't about a human. For animals, births can still be a dangerous experience. This is exactly what happened to a Californian horse named Emma on a spring day in May. But why did this horse and her specific pregnancy surprise her owner and deserve to make the news? Birth is a miraculous and potentially dangerous event for all creatures on the planet. The number of offspring produced at one time ranges from 1 to thousands depending on the species. Normal mammalian gestation periods can be days to over a year. Multiple births occur with various frequencies and with different numbers of babies at once. So again, why Emma? Why this pregnancy? Why this birth? Emma was what seemed like a normal horse. She brought her owner a great deal of joy, and she lived peacefully in the field beside their house. Emma was often admired by the neighbors as a beautiful, peaceful horse. She had a lovely mane and a very soft demeanor. Children from the neighboring farms would often learn to ride on Emma because she was so gentle. Her owner certainly noticed a difference between Emma and some of the other horses in the field. Emma seemed to look after everyone else around her, which made her a perfect candidate for motherhood. So when it was finally arranged for Emma to become a mother, everyone was excited. The normal pregnancy period for a horse is 11 to 12 months. For the majority of Emma's pregnancy, everything seemed to be going smoothly and did not show any signs of complications. Emma even seemed to be excited by the prospect. Her nature turned even softer, and she seemed to be nesting, knowing that a little foal was coming. In nature, horses give birth all by themselves, of course. However, a captive horse was able to get a bit more help, especially from owners as loving as Emma's. She had her normal checkups and was being watched by her owner. Everything seemed to be going absolutely fine with the pregnancy, and no one had any concerns. That is, until one fateful day. It was a morning like any other. The sun was shining, the birds were chirping, and Emma seemed to be fine at dawn when her owner went out to check. However, as the day went on, it seemed that today would be the day. Emma's labor was a bit early, and it started gently, almost as if it was her chosen day. She was mostly silent if she was feeling any pain, and it took the owner quite a while to notice. When he finally did notice, he called the vet, who of course came right away. The vet had been expecting Emma to go into labor shortly, so this wasn't too much of a surprise. This was Emma's first foal, and although there were unknown risks to new motherhood, she was young and healthy, and so no one was anticipating any issues. The neighborhood had even taken a poll about whether it would be a boy or a girl, and they had started a bet about what date the new foal would be born. The owner and the vet were not terribly concerned when she laid down to bring her foal into the world. In a world of modern medicine, it is hard to believe that something so incredible could occur without anyone having noticed. She still had her sweet demeanor, and she was quite quiet, despite the fact that she must have been in a lot of pain. She put her snout up to her owner's leg a few times and then continued to labor. Emma's owner was ready to assist his horse in any way if she would need it. As he stood by her side, he gently stroked her coat and comforted her. It was clear that the love between the two of them was strong. They were very connected, and the owner made sure to let Emma know that he was there and not about to leave. A horse's labor could be just as long as a human's, and there were of course danger signs to watch for. Anything that took too long would alter the event that there was trouble with the foal. A perfect labor, however, would mean that the vet would not have to intervene at all. The vet told the owner that usually a horse's birth went without a hitch because horses were so independent and self-sufficient. The vet had attended many births, and he started to tell the owner some of the things to watch out for just out of conversation. He assured him that Emma was actually doing quite well, and they did not have a reason to be concerned at this moment. The owner mentioned that Emma had a twin sister, and he wondered whether perhaps Emma would produce a miracle. It turned out his words were fateful somehow. The vet raised his eyebrows at the words and shook his head. He said that it wouldn't be possible for Emma to have twins, both due to the fact that he had been following her throughout her pregnancy and because it would be quite the situation. Due to the size of a horse, multiple births are very dangerous for both the baby and the mother. Twins in horses occur only once in 10,000 pregnancies. These are approximately the same odds as triplets in humans. Usually, if there are multiple embryos fertilized at once, one absorbs the other to prevent an exponentially more complicated pregnancy. If this process does not occur naturally, veterinarians will generally abort weaker embryos, again in order to favor the most positive outcome for the expanding family. The owner shrugged with a smile. There was something about this night that told him that perhaps there would be a miracle and they would beat the odds. He wasn't quite sure why, but he knew that Emma was a special horse. Finally, the time came. The vet sat forward, more attentive, and the owner shifted his stance to make sure Emma was comfortable. Emma was ready to expand her family and settle down in her stall on the hay. The owner and the vet helped with the delivery process, and soon a new foal was born. While trying to ensure both the baby and mama were healthy, they noticed Emma was still in distress. The vet turned to the owner in shock and asked him how he could have possibly known. Although the owner was too shocked to actually answer, he knew in his heart that Emma was special. It was then that the owner remembered that Emma's chances of having a safe and healthy birth with multiples was low. He reached out to touch her snout and tried to reassure her that everything was going to be all right. He knew that he wasn't going to lose Emma tonight because she brought such joy and happiness to the neighborhood. This delivery took much longer than the first one. Even the vet was starting to get worried. And the owner wondered if this night would end up being fateful for an entirely different reason. Emma was such a special horse and he couldn't lose her. Finally though, just as dawn broke, a miracle occurred. The vet couldn't believe his eyes. They had another successful delivery, and the family had unexpectedly grown by 2 healthy foals. The brand new pair of horses were named Will and Grace and enjoy life with their mother today. The neighborhood children were delighted to now have 3 wonderful animals to play with. Emma, as predicted, is an absolutely wonderful mother who dotes on her babies. Despite the fact that they have grown up to be quite large horses, they look just like her. And her owner is quite sure that they will uphold their legacy of being kind, gentle creatures who delight everyone who meets them.